So I just started off this morning by touching up the paint on the coving. If you remember, I got a little bit of blue onto it from the wall. So I touched that up, but unfortunately got a bit of the cream onto the wall. So touched that up as well. And then I've also given the little bench front a coat of cream paint, but that will need another coat, as you can still see the blue through there. But I did also get a bit of cream onto the wall, so I've touched that up as well. So I'm just hoping those two patches will dry to the same colour as the rest of the paint. Otherwise I'll have to give the whole wall another coat. But that's only freshly done, so we'll see how that dries. And I've got plenty of paint left in my pot if I need to do that. And then what I'm doing here on this right hand wall is just making my first template for the wallpaper. And I'm sure you've seen me do this before, and I call it a sort of patchwork template. So I'm using some A4 printing paper. This wall is very easy because it's only really the door that I've had to shape around. But I basically just put paper on and then use masking tape to add in little patches to cover the entire area. So this one is now done, so I'm going to remove this now and then I'll just trim off along this wall. But I always leave a little bit more than I think I'm going to need, because it's always best to obviously cut a bit more rather than cutting it too short, otherwise you'll have a line along the front. So I'll leave a little bit there that I can trim off once the paper is glued into place and the glue has dried. And I'm also now going to create a template for this left-hand wall. And this time I'm going to do the entire wall, so I'll need to do all the way around the window, obviously all around the fire surround, and then this bit of the wall as well. So it's only really, I suppose, getting around that window that's going to be tricky. Now, unfortunately, I can't get the camera in there and work at the same time, so I'll just do that and then I'll pop back in and show you how I'm getting on. So that's the left-hand wall template done as well. The most trickiest part was around the window, and on the sort of inside edge of the window, it was a lot of just sort of feeling where I needed to put the paper and the tape. And if you have any little tiny areas where you've got a little gap, you can just use your masking tape to fill that in, and then you just need to go along the edge of it. So I think I've got a pretty good fit around the surround now, and I just sort of used my nail to shape in around that tiny little sort of overhang there, which is probably only 1 millimetre or so. So make sure you get around all of the little gaps, and I know that I need to cut it so it's right up to the ceiling, and then I've got a bit of gap in at the bottom which my skirting board will cover. So I'm just going to carefully ease both of these out now and take them into my craft room. Okay, so I've brought both templates through to my craft room, and what I actually did was just use a little bit more masking tape to secure them, and then I went back through and tried them into place again and just made any tiny adjustments. And one thing I did do was just use my knife to trim off along the top of the chimney breast front, as it was just overlapping the coving a little bit. So I trimmed that, and then I've secured with masking tape all of the sort of flaps and those on the back as well, and then your template becomes a little bit more sturdy. So I'm going to put that one to one side for now. That's obviously the chimney breast wall, and I'm going to start with the easier wall. So I've worked out that I am going to need 4 sheets of the A4 paper. I'm going to start in a moment by trimming along the top of the paper and the sides to get rid of the border. I can leave the bottom border because that will be tucked under the skirting board. And then with this piece, I'm going to have the join here above the door, so in the smallest area. And then in a moment, once I've cut the borders off, I can work out where I then need to start this second piece so that I join up the pattern. So that one is going to be easy. And I've also printed off my 4 sheets here. And then with this piece, it is going to be a little bit more difficult to hide the join, because if I lay that on there, obviously I can get from one side of the chimney breast to the other, just about. But obviously I've then got the bends in the wall. So this is probably going to come to about here. Now, I will be having paintings up there, so I suppose I could have it up there. It would have been nice if I could have tucked it around because this area here you can't see at all from looking into the room. It's just completely hidden behind the chimney breast. You'd only be able to get in there with a camera. But because I'm not going to be able to do that, I'm going to try to do it then probably centrally at the front of the chimney breast, because then I'm going to be having things standing on the mantelpiece and, like I say, some pictures up there, and I'll be able to hide it that way. So before you even start cutting, do have a think about where you're going to hide your joins, and obviously you want to tuck them away in the sort of least conspicuous area. And then if you get your join correct, really want to make sure that you're lining your pattern up properly, then you're going to make it less visible as well. But I always think, and I think it would be a really nice way to do it, because obviously in real life the paper is just 2 inches or 2 feet, so 2 inches wide in 12th scale. I've always thought it would be really nice to actually do it as strips of wallpaper. Might do that one day, but obviously by doing it in large sheets like this, it's easier. But certainly when I do my abandoned doll's house or an abandoned room box, I'm going to cut the paper into strips so that I can sort of have little bits peeling away. But that's not suitable for this room, so I will do it in one sheet, and I'm going to have my join there, right in the middle. Okay, but I'm going to put this piece back to one side, and like I say, start with my easier piece first. Okay, so I did actually trim the borders from each side of the paper. I didn't realise that I hadn't actually pressed the record button, so I was actually just chattering along to myself. But what I was saying was that I like to use a knife to trim these edges, just because you get a straighter, more accurate line than using a pair of scissors. So this is a fresh blade. I did use it a couple of times this morning just to trim some of my patchwork template paper, so it should still be okay. So just make sure you're lined up along there, and then just do a nice firm cut. And when you have used your knife to cut paper, just make sure you change the blade before you then go back to cutting wood, otherwise you will snag the wood. So I'm just going to do that with each one, and I'll leave the border along the bottom there, as I said earlier, for a bit of an overlap, but also as I'm working with the paper, I don't then have to think about which is the top and bottom. This is fairly obvious because obviously all the stalks are coming down, but this way I won't have to think about it as I'm going along. I'll do the second piece as well. So I'm just about to trim now my second piece of paper to cut out the door. So knowing where I wanted my join along the edge of the door there, I cut my first piece of paper to size. So I actually put the actual edge here and then trimmed off this back end here. So that's at the back of the room. And then I've laid the template over the top of my second piece. And then as you can see, I've secured that with some masking tape. And as long as you're putting the masking tape onto the paper that you're going to be cutting away, then you're safe. You're not going to tear off any of your pattern. But this way, you'll actually keep it square. And I'm now going to trim this out. And I actually want to go down the length of the door first. So I'm just bringing the rule on the inside edge there, just so I've got room for the blade. Just take your time so that you're not going to actually pull your paper or drag the paper, like that. And then I'm still stuck in along the top here. And then I can go along that top line as well. Make sure you're actually cut through before you sort of pull any pieces away. Like that. And then I've just got this outer edge to do. And I've left that sort of overhang on my template as well. And then, like I said earlier, once the paper is actually dried into place, I can dry trim that off, just using my craft knife. Like that. So there's my other piece there. Just carefully pull that off so you're not tearing it. And then these two pieces will make up the wall. And I'll actually stick them into place separately rather than joining them at this stage, because if you were to put a piece of masking tape behind there, then you're going to see that raised edge once you've stuck your paper into place. So all of my wallpaper is now cut, and I applied a second coat of paint to the little bench, which is now dry, so I can remove the masking tape. So I'm now ready to actually hang the wallpaper, and I've mixed over here some wallpaper paste, and this is a normal household paste. I think it's the Solvite all-purpose paste. Now I've mixed far too much here because I made it too thick and just kept adding a little bit more water and a bit more paste. But luckily Matt is actually working on a full-sized project where he's going to need some wallpaper paste. So what of this I don't use, I can just go and tip into his bowl. So again, I'm not going to be able to record actually in the room as I'm doing this. So I'll sort of pop back in once I've got the first piece in place. But I am going to start then on that right-hand wall and the piece towards the back. And I know that comes to the edge of the door, so that's where I'll apply my paste to. Okay, so that is actually all of the paper on the walls now. I know I said I'd pop in after I'd done the first bit, but once I started, I just wanted to carry on with it and get it all on. So the paste is still wet. There are 1 or 2 bubbles, which I'm hoping will shrink out overnight. And I'll probably bring the hair dryer through as well and give it a quick blast. But I'm actually really happy with how that's looking. Over in that back left corner, I've got a little bit of an overhang at that side, and I don't know why, because I really sort of pushed it alongside the edge of the window. But I can go through with my craft knife and just trim off any overhangs. But actually, yeah, really pleased with that. Once it's completely dry, like I say, I'll trim off these overhangs at the edges. I've got one of those at either side. And then in the next episode, I can actually get the skirting board into place. And yeah, then I'll be ready to actually start furnishing this room. Okay, so that's it for today's episode, and I really hope you've enjoyed it. As I said earlier, in the next episode I'll be doing the skirting in that room, but I also want to get on with the sideboard for the living room, so I'll work on that in the week, and then I can let you see how I've got on with that next week as well. Now please, if you do enjoy these videos, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because it all helps other people find me. I also have a personal YouTube channel called Happy Moments with Julie, if you'd like to follow along with some of the things that I do outside of my doll's house and miniatures work. But if you do love my doll's housing and miniatures videos in particular, you can also come over and join me on Patreon, and all of the links are in the description box below. But that's it until next Friday, so until then, take care. Bye!